Mom forgot to mute herself during a call. I heard her say, "He's only useful when he's paying for something." My sister laughed. "Exactly. That's all he's good for." I didn't interrupt. That night, I ended every payment they relied on. By morning, their group chat, once buzzing, went completely silent. "Don't act innocent, Noah." Dad's voice cut through the apartment like glass. Mom slammed her coffee cup down. Liquid splashed onto the counter. "You think you're better than us because you pay for things?" My sister, Harper, leaned against the kitchen door, smirking. "Yeah, you're basically our walking wallet." The air felt heavy, like a storm brewing indoors, plates on the table, half-eaten dinner, flickering kitchen light. The argument had been building for days, and tonight it erupted. I didn't shout. My hand stayed on my knees, steady. Dad's voice rose again. "You owe this family respect. Everything you have came from us." My jaw tightened. "Everything I have, I built because you stopped helping me years ago." Silence. Then Mom's eyes narrowed. That's a lie. But she didn't know. I'd heard what she said that morning. She forgot to mute herself on a call. I'd heard every word. "He's only useful when he's paying for something," she'd told Harper, and Harper had laughed. Now at the dinner table, I just watched them all, quiet, until Dad leaned forward and said the line that sealed it. "You'd be nothing without us, Noah." That's when I smiled. Not out of joy, but realization, because tonight they had no idea what was already unraveling. My name's Noah Hale, 27, software consultant, the reliable one. I live 2 floors below them in the same city complex. They said it was convenient. I called it close enough to use me. For years, I'd been paying their phone plans, streaming subscriptions, sometimes even rent when Dad forgot his card limit. I didn't complain. I told myself, family helps family. But lately, the silence between us had become louder than any argument. I'd stopped visiting as often. Every text I sent felt like an invoice waiting to happen. And yet they acted like I was ungrateful, as if my distance was betrayal. Truth? I wasn't angry that they used me. I was angry that they never saw me beyond what I could give. And tonight, I'd finally decided to stop giving. Mom, Evelyn Hale, polished, polite in public, sharp as glass in private. Her smile never reached her eyes anymore. She cared about appearances, not emotions. Dad, Michael Hale, loud, proud, always blaming the system for everything. He used to run a small hardware store until mismanagement closed it. Since then, he's lived on excuses. Harper, my sister, 23, the golden one. Social media perfect, constantly broke but manifesting success. They were my whole family, yet sometimes I felt like a stranger among them. At dinner, Harper picked at her food, scrolling on her phone. "By the way," she said, "can you send your half of Mom's car payment tomorrow? It's late." Dad didn't even look up. "He'll send it. He always does." I let the words hang. Mom cleared her throat. "Noah, don't make this uncomfortable." Uncomfortable. That's what they called my boundaries. I almost told them I'd already canceled every auto payment tied to their names. Electricity, Wi-Fi, phone. But not yet. Not tonight. I wanted silence to speak first. After dinner, Mom followed me to the hallway. Her perfume was too sweet. It made my stomach turn. "You've changed, Noah. Ever since you moved out, you act like you're above us." I kept my tone calm. "I just started keeping track." "Track of what?" she snapped. "Who asks for what? And who says what when they think I'm not listening?" She froze. Just for a second, like the words hit too close. Then she said softer, "You misunderstood. I was just venting." I nodded. "Sure." From the living room, Harper laughed at something on her phone. Dad called out, "Evelyn, let him sulk. He'll come around." That's when I realized they didn't think I was capable of walking away. They'd mistaken silence for weakness. And that mistake was about to cost them everything they'd built on my name. A week later, we had another dinner. tense, quiet. Dad complained about bills again. Harper bragged about a collaboration that hadn't paid her yet. Mom scrolled through online furniture, sighing about what she deserved. Then Dad looked up. "Noah, your card bounced when I tried to pay the gas bill." I took a sip of water. "Yeah, it's not linked anymore." "What?" "I removed my name from everything that isn't mine." Harper laughed like I'd told a joke. "Stop playing." But I didn't. I just looked at Dad, calm, collected. Mom's voice trembled. You can't just do that. We live here too. You should have thought about that before calling me useful only when I'm paying." The silence that followed was thicker than air. Dad stood up, red-faced. "You little..." "Don't," I said quietly. "I've stayed quiet for years, but you don't get to call me ungrateful when I was the only one giving." No one moved. Even Harper's smirk faded. For the first time, they were scared, not of losing money, but control. I remembered the first time they used me. I was 19. Dad had just lost his business. I'd taken my first freelance job, and my first paycheck was gone in a week. Family emergency. I didn't complain. I thought I was helping. Then came college tuition, car repairs, Harper's mental health retreat, Mom's new phone for safety. Every time I said no, I became selfish. Every yes just made me smaller. The night before graduation, I found Dad bragging to his friends, "Yeah, my boy's paying for everything now, raised him right." That's when I realized they didn't love what I became. They loved what I provided. And that realization broke something in me that never fully healed. It was Harper who slipped up. During another shouting match, she screamed, "You think you're so smart, Noah? You don't even know Mom used your account for the loan." Everything froze. "What loan?" I asked quietly. Mom's face went pale. "It's not what you think. Whose signature is on it?" I just needed time." My pulse pounded. "You used my name." Dad tried to intervene. "It's family money. You'll get it back." But I'd already checked my credit report weeks earlier. I knew about the $15,000 personal loan. I just wanted to see if they'd admit it. They hadn't. Until now, I stood up, voice steady. "I knew. I just wanted to hear it from you." Mom started crying. Harper muttered, "He's so dramatic." Dad slammed the table. "You're tearing this family apart." "No," I said. "You already did. I'm just turning the lights on." The days after were chaos. Dad called yelling. Mom sent long, guilt-filled texts. Harper posted vague quotes about toxic siblings. I didn't respond. I just logged into every account I'd ever created for them. Utilities, Wi-Fi, Netflix, insurance. Each cancel felt like a slow exhale. By morning, Mom's message came. "Noah, we have no internet, no heat, no phone service. Please fix it." I replied, "You said I'm only useful when I'm paying. I'm just following your rule." And then I turned my phone off. That night, the group chat, once filled with requests, jokes, demands, went silent. I didn't miss it. I moved out of the building that week, packed my things quietly, the way I'd lived most of my life. When I passed by their floor, I heard muffled arguing behind their door. Mom's voice cracked. "He'll come back." Dad's reply, "No, he's done." For once, he was right. Outside, the city felt louder, freer. The air didn't smell like guilt anymore. I found a small apartment across town. Nothing fancy, but mine. Bills with my name, my choices, my peace. One night, Harper texted, "You really hate us that much?" I typed back, "No. I just love myself enough now." And I hit send. Months passed. I heard from a neighbor that Dad finally took a part-time job. Mom started selling handmade crafts online. Harper was renting a smaller place. They survived, not because of me, but because they had to. And somehow, that gave me peace. Sometimes I walk past the old building and glance at their windows. No anger, no revenge left, just quiet distance. For years I thought love meant endurance. Now I know it means freedom. Standing under the streetlight, I whispered to myself, For the first time, I don't carry their weight anymore. If you were in my place, hearing your own family say you're only useful when you're paying, would you forgive them? Or would you walk away forever? Tell me in the comments. Your story matters. If you've ever been the quiet one who finally spoke up, hit like, subscribe for more stories about breaking silence, finding strength, and rebuilding peace.